My name's Tom. I'm 35, just a regular guy from a small town in the southeast, and up until a couple weeks ago, I thought I had a pretty decent life. Married for 8 years to my wife, Lisa, she's 32, and we built something I was proud of. A little house with a big porch, a dog named Rusty, and plans for kids someday. But then she dropped a bomb on me that turned everything upside down, and I'm still picking up the pieces. I'm using a throwaway account to tell this story because, well, it's messy, and I don't want my buddies at the hardware store hearing about it just yet. It all started unraveling about a month back. Lisa came home one night, her face all tight and her eyes cold, and said she had something to tell me. I was in the garage, tinkering with an old lawnmower I'd been meaning to fix, when she marched in and just let it rip. "I'm done with this, Tom," she said, her voice sharp as a razor. "I'm moving out. Me and Jake are getting a place together, and you need to sell this house." Jake. Her ex from way back, the guy she swore was ancient history. She wanted me to sell our house so she could shack up with him. Then she hit me with the gut punch. "You're a loser, Tom. Jake's got it all, money, ambition. He's the one I should have been with all along." I just stood there, greasy wrench in my hand, staring at her like she'd grown a second head. She didn't stop, though. She grabbed a box of old camping photos from the shelf, pictures of us smiling by campfires, and started ripping them to shreds. "This was a mistake," she spat, tossing the pieces on the floor. "You were never enough." Before I could even process it, her brother Mike showed up, leaning in the doorway with a smirk. "She's out of your league, man," he said, laughing like it was some big joke. "Jake's got a real future. Sign the divorce papers and get lost." I signed the first set of papers that night, mostly because I was too stunned to fight. Lisa stormed out with a suitcase, and Mike followed, still chuckling. But then my phone started blowing up, 13 texts from Lisa, begging me to fix this, because Jake's big plans were already falling apart. Turns out, he wasn't the golden boy she thought. I didn't reply. I just sat there in the dark garage, Rusty whining at my feet, trying to figure out how my life went from normal to a train wreck in one night. Looking back, I should have seen it coming. Months ago, things started shifting. Lisa's job at the insurance office had her working late all the time, which wasn't new. She'd always been a hard worker, but then she locked her phone. We'd always shared passwords, no secrets. I asked her about it one morning over coffee, real casual, and she flipped out. "Why you gotta be so nosy, Tom?" "I need my space," she snapped, slamming her mug down. That was the first sign something was off, but I let it slide. I didn't want to be that guy, you know? Then the money stuff started. Our joint checking account, where we kept savings for a new truck, began showing weird charges. Fancy dinners at places I'd never been to, some high-end clothing store in the city, even a spa day during her lunch break. I'd ask her about it, and she'd wave me off. "Oh, that's just for work," she'd say. Or, "I earned a little treat. Don't make it a big deal." I'd nod, feeling like a jerk for even bringing it up. But deep down, it nagged at me. The kicker was her new hobby. She joined this ritzy yoga studio 30 minutes away, not the community center where we used to go together. She'd come home late, showered, hair perfect, wearing tight leggings and tops I didn't recognize. I'd ask how yoga was, and she'd shrug. "Fine. Stop hovering, Tom. You're smothering me." Every time I tried to talk, she'd twist it around, make me feel like I was the problem. I kept telling myself I was imagining things. Turns out, I wasn't. Last Tuesday was when it all hit the fan. I was under the truck, changing the oil, when her phone lit up on the workbench. A text from Jake, counting down to tonight, babe. He's still clueless. My stomach dropped. I waited till she got home. She rolled in at 8 p.m., looking like she just walked off a magazine cover. I held up the phone and said, "What's this, Lisa?" She didn't even flinch. Just laughed, this icy, mean laugh, and said, "Guess you're not as dumb as I thought." Then she laid it all out, how Jake was some hotshot real estate guy now, how I was holding her back with my small-town dreams, how they'd been planning this for months. She pulled out a stack of papers from her purse. "Sell the house, Tom. Jake and I need the cash. His condo's too small for us." I pointed out it was our house, both our names on the deed. She snorted. "You can't pay for it alone. Sign it, take your cut, and go rent some trailer. It's all you're good for." Then she stormed upstairs, tore down our framed vacation pics from Gatlinburg, and shredded them. "Jake's my real love," she yelled. "You were just a pit stop." Mike showing up the next day was the cherry on top. He stood there, arms crossed, telling me Lisa deserved better, that I was a nobody. I didn't say much, just let them think I was beaten. But I wasn't. See, I'd been paying attention. Every late night, every shady charge, every nasty word. I'd been keeping track. They thought I'd roll over and take it. They don't know me at all. I've got plans of my own now, and they're about to find out what happens when you push a quiet guy too far. I'll keep you posted. Things are just getting started. I assume you meant carry on with the first chapter, or perhaps move on to the second chapter. Since I've already written chapter 1, I'll proceed with chapter 2, continuing the story with the same style, tone, and requirements you outlined. Here's the next installment, keeping it over 3,000 characters, written in first person as Tom, a simple American man, with a fresh take that diverges from the original while maintaining the spirit of the narrative. This is ready for AI voiceover, with no abbreviations and a natural flow. Chapter 2. laying the groundwork. Hey, it's Tom again. Been a wild few days since Lisa dropped her bombshell about moving in with Jake and wanting me to sell our house. I'm still reeling, but I ain't just sitting around feeling sorry for myself. While Lisa and her brother Mike think I'm some broken-down pushover, I've been busy. See, I might be a small-town guy who likes fixing engines and drinking beer on the porch, but I'm not stupid. I've been watching, listening, and putting my own plan together. They're about to find out I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. After Lisa stormed out that night with her suitcase and Mike's smug grin still ringing in my ears, I sat down with Rusty, my old hound dog, and started thinking. She'd been acting shady for months, those late nights, the locked phone, the weird charges on our bank account, and I'd let it slide because I trusted her. Big mistake. But trust don't mean I'm blind. I'd kept receipts, screenshots, even a little notebook where I jotted down stuff that didn't add up. At first, it was just to make sense of it all, but now it's ammo. Last Wednesday, I took a day off from the auto shop and drove out to see Lisa's folks, Bill and Patty. They live about an hour away in this quiet little brick house with a garden out front. They've always been good to me. Bill helped me rebuild my truck's carburetor once, and Patty's peach cobbler is the best thing I've ever tasted. I figured they deserved to know what their daughter was up to before she spun some lie about me being the bad guy. I brought a folder with me, bank statements showing all those fancy dinners and spa days, text from Jake I'd snapped pictures of, even a grainy photo from my buddy's security camera showing Jake's truck parked in our driveway when I was at work. Patty opened the door, all smiles, until she saw my face. Tom, honey, what's wrong? She asked, pulling me inside. Bill was in his recliner, watching some fishing show, but he muted it when I sat down. I didn't beat around the bush. Lisa's leaving me, I said. She's been seeing Jake behind my back, and she wants me to sell the house so they can start over. Patty's hand flew to her mouth, and Bill's jaw tightened. I slid the folder across the coffee table. This is what I've got so far. Thought you should see it? They flipped through it, quiet at first. Patty's eyes got watery when she saw the texts, Jake calling Lisa babe, and bragging about how I'd never suspect a thing. Bill stopped on the bank statements, his voice low. She told us she needed $15,000 a few weeks back. Said it was for a new roof on your place. I shook my head. Ain't no new roof, Bill. That money's gone, probably to Jake. Patty started crying then, soft little sobs, and Bill just stared at the floor. We thought we taught her better, he muttered. This ain't the girl we raised. That's when it got real interesting. Bill leaned forward, rubbing his hands together. Jake's in real estate, right? Big talker. I nodded. Well, he said, I heard through some buddies at the VFW that his company's been hemorrhaging deals. Word is, he's in debt up to his eyeballs. That house money might be his lifeline. That clicked something in my head. Lisa kept pushing me to sign those papers fast, like it was urgent. Now I knew why. Jake wasn't the big shot she thought. He was desperate. I didn't tell Bill and Patty my next move, but I was already working it out. See, I've got a cousin, Eddie, who's a loan officer at a bank in the next county. He's the kind of guy who knows everybody's business without even trying. I called him that night. Eddie, I said, you ever hear anything about Jake Tanner's company? He laughed. Oh yeah, Tom. They're bleeding clients left and right. Rumor is, he's been promising investors stuff he can't deliver. Why you asking? I filled him in, and Eddie whistled low. Man, Lisa picked a real winner. You need anything, you let me know. Here's where I started playing my cards. Lisa thought I was too broke to keep the house without her income, but I'd been stashing cash from side jobs, fixing cars, selling spare parts, for years. Not much, but enough to cover the mortgage a while. I let her think I was scrambling, even texted her back once saying I'd think about signing the papers. She took the bait, texting Mike right after. I saw it on her phone when she left it unlocked by mistake one night. He's caving, she wrote. Told you he's weak. Meanwhile, I'd been recording stuff. Tennessee's a one-party consent state, so it's legal. Every time Lisa or Mike came by to talk about the house, I had my phone in my pocket, mic on. Last Friday, they showed up together, all smug and pushy. Just sign it, Tom, Lisa said, tossing the papers on the kitchen table. You're lucky we're giving you half. Most guys would have kicked you out by now. Mike chimed in, grinning. Yeah, Jake's already got plans for this place. You're yesterday's news. I stayed quiet, let them ramble. They spilled it all. How they'd been plotting this since last summer. How Jake had Lisa sign some shady paperwork to shift our credit card debt onto me. All on tape. The best part? Jake don't know I've been talking to his old high school buddy, Clint, who works construction. Clint hates Jake, says he stiffed him on a job years back. He told me Jake's been bragging around town about upgrading with Lisa, but his condo's underwater, and he's dodging creditors. Lisa thinks she's trading up, but she's hitching herself to a sinking ship. This morning, Lisa left a voicemail, all cocky. Get your junk out by Monday, Tom. Jake's moving in soon. I saved it, added it to my stash. She's got no clue I've already pulled half our savings into a new account. Legal, thanks to Eddie's advice, and locked down all my important stuff in a storage unit. Tonight, she's out with Jake at some fancy dinner, thinking she's won. Tomorrow, I start pushing back. I've got 13 messages ready to go, to her boss, Jake's clients, their friends, spilling the whole mess. But I ain't sending them yet. First, I want to watch them squirm when their little fantasy starts cracking. Stay tuned, folks. This is about to get good. Hey, it's Tom again, checking in from my little corner of chaos. Things have been moving fast since I started putting my plan together, and Lisa and Jake are about to find out I ain't the doormat they figured me for. I've been keeping my head down, playing along like I'm some sad sack ready to hand over the house and slink off. But behind the scenes, I've been lighting fuses. The first sparks flew yesterday, and man, it's been a sight to see. After that last visit from Lisa and Mike, where they laid into me about signing the house papers and laughed about Jake taking over, I decided it was time to shake things up. I'd been sitting on all that evidence. The bank statements, the recordings, the text from Jake I'd screenshotted when Lisa left her phone out. I wasn't ready to drop the big bomb yet, but I figured a little nudge couldn't hurt. So, I started with Lisa's job. She works at this insurance office downtown, always bragging about how she's their top agent. Well, she's been sloppy lately, and I had proof. See, I noticed some emails on our shared laptop. Yeah, she forgot to log out a while back, where she'd been sending client info to Jake. Stuff like names, addresses, policy details. I ain't no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that's a big no-no in her line of work. I printed those out, made copies, and yesterday morning, I sent a nice little package to her boss, Karen. Didn't sign my name, just wrote, "Thought you should know what Lisa's been up to." Included a few choice screenshots and a note about how she'd been meeting Jake during work hours at our house, backed up by that security pic from my buddy's camera. By lunchtime, my phone was buzzing like a hornet's nest. Lisa left me a voicemail, voice all shaky and pissed. "Tom, what the hell did you do?" Karen just hauled me into her office, saying they're launching an investigation. They're talking about breaches and ethics. Fix this, or I swear I'll make your life hell. I didn't call back, just saved the message and grinned. Rusty looked up at me from his spot on the rug, wagging his tail like he knew something was up. "Hang tight, boy," I told him. "This is just the warm-up." About an hour later, Mike called. I let it go to voicemail too. He was yelling so loud I could hear it through the speaker before I even played it. "You little weasel, Tom. Lisa's freaking out because of you. We have this all worked out, and you're trying to sabotage us? You're done, man. Just wait." I saved that one too. More gold for the pile. What they didn't know was I'd already talked to my cousin Eddie again. He dug a little deeper into Jake's real estate mess and found out the guy's company was on the verge of losing a huge contract with some developer out of Nashville. Jake needed cash fast, and Lisa's half of our house was his ticket. That's when I got a wild idea. I called up Clint, Jake's old buddy who hates his guts. Clint's been doing construction for this same developer, and he owed me a favor after I fixed his truck last spring. "Clint," I said, "you still got pull with that Nashville crew?" He laughed. "Yeah, Tom, why?" I told him about Jake, how he was banking on my house to bail him out. Clint didn't even hesitate. "Say no more. I'll make a call. Let's see how he likes losing that deal." I didn't ask for details, just thanked him and hung up. If Jake's world was going to crumble, I wanted a front row seat. Sure enough, by dinner time, Lisa showed up at the house, banging on the door like a crazy person. I let her in, keeping my phone recording in my pocket. She was a mess, hair all wild, eyes red, mascara streaking down her face. "You're ruining everything, Tom," she screamed, chucking her keys at me. They bounced off my chest and hit the floor. "Karen's got me on suspension, and Jake's freaking out because some big deal just fell through. What did you send her? And who else did you tell?" I shrugged, calm as could be. "Just the truth, Lisa. Ain't that what you wanted? No more secrets." She went nuts then, grabbing a lamp off the end table and smashing it on the hardwood. "You're a spiteful jerk," she yelled. "Jake's done with me now. He says I'm bad luck. This is all your fault." I didn't say much, just let her rant. She admitted a bunch, how Jake had been promising her a fancy new life, how they'd been stashing cash from our account in some side fund, how she'd been lying to her folks about that $15,000. All on tape. Then she tried to lunge at me, claws out, but I stepped back, and she tripped over Rusty's water bowl, soaking her jeans. "You'll pay for this," she hissed, storming out. I figured that'd be the end of it for the night, but nope. Mike rolled up an hour later, tires squealing in the driveway. He didn't come inside, just stood out front yelling for the whole neighborhood to hear. "You think you're slick, Tom? Lisa's a wreck because of you. Jake's gonna bury you when he gets his hands on this place." I stepped onto the porch, arms crossed. "Better tell Jake to check his email," I said, loud enough for him to hear. "He might be too busy to bury anybody." Mike's face went dark, and he peeled out, gravel flying. Turns out, Clint came through big. He tipped off the Nashville developer about Jake's shaky finances, and they'd pulled the plug on the contract that afternoon. Jake's company was scrambling, and Lisa was caught in the crossfire. I didn't sleep much that night, just sat on the couch with a beer, Rusty snoozing beside me, thinking about my next move. I've still got those 13 messages ready to go, packed with every dirty detail I've collected. Lisa's boss was just the start. Jake's clients, their friends, her coworkers, they're all on the list. But I'm holding off a little longer. I want them to feel the heat, watch their perfect little scheme unravel. This morning, Lisa left another note taped to my truck. "Pack up and get out, Tom. Jake's still taking this house." I laughed, took a picture of it, and added it to my stash. "She's got no idea I've got the mortgage covered, or that I've been talking to a real estate guy about flipping this place for more than she ever dreamed. They think they're calling the shots, but I'm the one with the playbook now. Tomorrow's gonna be a doozy. I've got a meeting with Eddie and a lawyer friend of his. Game's on, folks. I'll keep you posted. Things have been heating up fast since I sent that package to Lisa's boss and got Clint to pull some strings with Jake's big deal. Yesterday was like something out of a movie, yelling, crying, the whole works, and I'm just getting started. Lisa and Jake think they've got me cornered, but I've been moving pieces they don't even see yet. The cracks in their plan are getting wider, and I'm having a front row seat to the show. After Lisa's meltdown in my living room and Mike's big scene in the driveway, I figured they'd back off for a bit, lick their wounds. Nope. Morning came, and my phone lit up with texts from Lisa, 6 of M, all caps, screaming about how I'd destroyed her life. Stuff like, "You happy now, Tom? I'm suspended and Jake's a mess, and fix this or you'll regret it." I didn't bite. Just saved M all and sipped my coffee while Rusty chewed on his bone. Then Mike called again, left a message saying Jake was coming for me once he sorted out his business mess. I laughed. Good luck with that, buddy. Around noon, I headed out to meet Eddie and his lawyer pal, Dave, at this diner off the highway. Dave's a no-nonsense guy, wears boots and a ball cap, talks straight. I brought my folder of evidence, the bank statements, the recordings, the pics, everything. Laid it all out on the table next to my burger and fries. "Here's the deal," I said. "Lisa's trying to force me to sell the house, but she's been siphoning cash and passing client info to Jake. I've got proof." Dave flipped through it, nodding slow. "This is solid, Tom," he said. "She's dug herself a hole, legal trouble with her job, maybe fraud with the money. And this debt she tried to pin on you? We can fight that." Eddie leaned in, grinning. "Told you Jake's company's tanking. That Nashville deal falling through was just the start. Word spreading, he's losing credibility. Clients are jumping ship." Dave tapped the table. "If he's counting on your house to bail him out, we can stall the sale, tie it up in court. You've got leverage here." I like the sound of that. "What about her folks' $15,000? I asked. Dave smirked. "If she lied to him about it, that's another angle. Let's see how she likes explaining that." I left the diner feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Got home, and there's Lisa's car in my driveway again. She was pacing by the porch, arms crossed, looking like she hadn't slept. I walked up, phone recording as always. "Tom," she snapped, "we need to talk. Jake's freaking out. His company's losing everything, and it's your fault." I raised an eyebrow. "My fault? You're the one who hitched your wagon to a sinking star." She glared, stepping closer. "You sent something to Karen, didn't you? They're auditing my files now, and Jake says someone's bad-mouthing him to his clients." I stayed cool. "Truth's got a way of getting out, Lisa. Maybe you should have thought about that before you started playing games." She lost it then, started yelling about how I was a jealous nobody, how Jake was her real shot at happiness. Then she dropped a bomb. "We've been planning this for a year, Tom. I only stayed with you till Jake got his promotion." That stung, but I kept my face blank, letting the recorder catch every word. She stormed off, peeling out so fast she clipped the mailbox. Another mess for her to explain. That afternoon, I got a call from Patty, Lisa's mom. She sounded shaky. "Tom, Bill and I confronted Lisa about the $15,000. She admitted it went to Jake for some investment. We're sick about it." I heard Bill in the background, grumbling. "She's cut off," Patty said. "We told her to pay us back or we're done helping her." I thanked him, told him I was sorry it came to this. They didn't deserve this mess either. Here's where it gets juicy. Clint texted me later. Jake's company lost another client, a big one, thanks to some anonymous tip about his shady deals. Clint's loving this, says it's payback for years of Jake screwing people over. Meanwhile, I've been chatting with a guy I know, Ray, who runs a towing business. Ray's tight with some of Jake's crew, and he let slip that Jake's been seeing another woman on the side, some bartender named Tara. Promised her a big future too, same as Lisa. I asked Ray to keep an ear out, maybe snap a pic if he could. If Tara finds out about Lisa, that's another fire I can stoke. By evening, Mike showed up again, this time with Jake in tow. They banged on my door, and I stepped out, phone rolling. Jake's a tall guy, all slick hair and fake tan, but he looked rough, eyes bloodshot, tie loose. "You're screwing with my life, Tom," he shouted. "Back off, or I'll make you sorry." Mike jumped in. "Yeah, Lisa's a wreck because of you. Just sell the damn house and disappear." I crossed my arms. "House ain't going nowhere, till I say so. You two picked the wrong guy to mess with." Jake lunged like he was gonna swing, but Mike held him back. "You'll regret this," Jake snarled as they left. "I've got it all recorded, threats and all." Before bed, I checked my stash, moved most of our savings to a new account Eddie set up, locked my tools and guns in storage, even hid the title to my truck. Lisa left another note on my windshield. "You're out by Friday, or Jake's taking over." I chuckled, snapped a pic. She's got no clue I've got Dave working on a restraining order, or that Ray's already got pics of Jake and Tara at some dive bar last week. Tomorrow, I'm meeting Ray to grab those, and Dave's filing paperwork to freeze the house sale. Those 13 messages are still ready, loaded with dirt, Lisa's job, Jake's clients, their whole circle. I'm waiting for the perfect moment to hit send. They're scrambling now, and I'm just warming up. More soon, folks. This ain't over.